You know what I love?
What do you love?
I love government bureaucracy and red tape.
Really?
Yeah, I wish there was a game that really could capture the beauty of that. What?
We have a game.
Yeah?
Today, we review Belfort.
Hi, I'm Glenn.
I'm Cheryl.
And this is Couple
Versus
Cardboard. We are not in San Diego.
How can you tell?
Because the wall behind us is not games.
No, but it's my antlers.
We are recording at a friend's house in Pasadena because we are there over the weekend when we are recording this.
Not when you're watching this.
Not when you're watching this. Unless, if you are, you're a total creeper. If they're watching right now, they're watching from like somewhere else. Like from behind that blind over there. So what are we talking about?
I think we said we were talking about Belfort.
Belfort.
Yeah.
I love Belfort.
I know. So, what is it?
Well, Belfort is like a light worker placement aspect with area control scoring. Yeah, right. So
that's quite a game category. The easiest way to describe this game would be in reverse. So starting with how do you win, going back from there.
This is like one of those albums from the 70s where when you go backwards, it has all kinds of weird messages. Eat your vegetables. So the idea is that there are 7 rounds of the game, 7 months effectively. So you have to get everything done before winter, and there are 7 months between now and winter to get everything done.
Of course.
3 times between the different seasons, they're going to score it. Basically see how far along you've come.
Right.
And then in that last scoring, whatever you have is that's it.
Winner.
There's no extra
Winner takes
scoring. There's no end game scoring.
Yeah.
In fact, my favorite part is the way it scores. So what you have is there are 5 districts of the game board. The board is kind of made up of, it's like a pentagonal board.
Super cool.
And it's made up of kind of 5 triangles. You score based on who has the majority over that particular triangle. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, you also get points for the different kinds of workers you have. You have elves and dwarves, and then gnomes who work a little bit differently than kind of normal workers do.
Right.
So that's how you win, is basically 3 times in the game you're going to be scored, the majority, and then who has the most workers.
And you really like that.
Yes.
Because you always know where you stand.
Yeah, it's not like some worker placement games where it's this kind of mystery throughout the whole game. It's kind of that weird point salad at the end of the game. It's not to say that those games are bad, but it is to say that one of the best parts about this is that you can physically, tangibly see who's winning, where they're winning, and what each scoring round is going to go like even before you go into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In each district, there are several different kinds of buildings that you can build by getting resources and spending those wood, stone, metal, what have you, to get various kinds. So you can get a garden, you can get a pub, you can get a market, and each district has those same buildings. Yeah. Okay? So the goal is to get the most buildings built in that district. Right. To get the majority and get the points. Right.
How do you build these buildings? And the idea there is that you have to get resources. And the way you get resources is by taking the little workers that you have, the elves, the dwarves, and placing them onto locations that can give you resources. Now, before we even just talk about the kind of resource aspect of it, there are lots of different places that you can place these guys generally. So when I put a building out, I can put a worker on my building, and that will give me a superpower that only I can have. There are also guilds that will be on the main board, and with the guilds, they can give you either a ton of resources, they can give you...
You can steal stuff from other people.
Right.
Yeah.
You can get extra workers through them. And so the guilds are among some of the places that you can place these workers. After you've placed on these different locations, these different planks on the board, then you pass, and with whatever workers you have left, you dump them into the kind of resource pool. And the dwarves and the elves both can gather certain resources. Some require 2, and that's the basic idea there.
Right.
So with that, you can get metal and gold, as well as wood and stone, and those let you, during the action phase, build.
Right.
This sounds like a lot.
It kind of is a lot.
Yeah, it is. The thing about Belfort that is great is that it's easy to see which direction you're going.
Yeah.
So you know that what's my goal? Well, I have 2 things. I have to put stuff on the board,
right,
and I have to have the most workers. Those are going to be the 2 ways that I score points. But how I do it is a little bit like saying, like, go out and be a successful adult.
Right.
Like, it's just a lot of ways that you can kind of end up going that direction.
Which is one of the reasons that we love it so much.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's one of the reasons I'm not a successful adult. We're constantly faced with really complex decisions.
Yeah.
And the thing that changes about it every time is that those guilds that I mentioned a second ago, they're super powerful.
Right.
They're incredibly powerful. I mean, almost game-breakingly powerful. If you just leave it alone and you don't have guilds, what you have is kind of this quaint little Euro where you're just kind of trying to build some things, and it has this kind of adorable little ecosystem. But when you add the guilds into the equation, they're so powerful that they cause the whole of your strategy to change every time.
Right.
And if you go with the same strategy you used the last time, it may not work in the same situation. Like, there could be just tons and tons of resources available all the time.
Stone is abundant.
Right. The next one, there's nothing, or that, like, the bandits and the thieves are just picking you apart, right, and you can barely feel like you're getting anything on the board. Do you have a favorite guild?
I don't know. I mean, no? I like the ones that give me like a grip of resources.
Oh yeah.
Like, get 15 million stone.
Yeah.
Get 7,000 wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like those.
I'm a big like recruiters guild fan. I love being able to just get like really cheap workers. I love monopolizing it too. It's so fun.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on my mood, but sometimes I really like the interactive guilds where you get to mess with people.
I do love those.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do that at all.
Well, and the reason I love those interactive guilds is because with if you think about other worker placement games, like the idea of like messing with somebody else's stuff by not just like placing there first, but like just actually like jacking money from them is like the antithesis of like Eurogamers. I think a lot of them hate that aspect of this game. I love it because it's like, oh, you were planning on building like these things this turn? No, you can't. Ha. Like, I hate it when it happens to me, but I also love it when it happens to me because it's awesome. I love that that every time you play, the strategy changes. That as you add these different guilds in, as you swap them out, it changes the whole dynamic of the game, and I think that's fantastic. I love the components. And I adore the art. The art is such a fantastic job. It's such a unique and bright and beautiful kind of art.
So I like this game too, which is less clear because you like it so much.
Yeah,
but I do really like it. I think it's fun, and I think you nailed it. Like, it has a really good pace with still feeling like a solid gameplay. So, I mean, it takes typically a couple hours to play. So you feel like you got a good game in. Yeah. You were able to really work through strategy.
The complexity of it is definitely more than I think you can probably pull off on your average, like, non-gamer. So, like, it's not a game to get if you were looking to play with just, you know, something casually with a bunch of people. It definitely is a thinker. And then in addition to that, I actually think I have seen it where people who are especially prone to analysis paralysis can just get stuck there. Like, they just they can be sitting there trying.
There's so many options for what they could
and they're trying to analyze everything, and they're trying to plan out their whole turn, and because of it, they can get really stuck in it. Now, it's not everybody, but I've definitely seen it. Even this last week when we played it, I definitely got stuck with analysis paralysis. Everyone was like, seriously, Glenn, just go. And I was like,
okay, I'll muster.
I don't.
It doesn't feel as weighty once you kind of get used to it. you don't leave feeling like, oh wow, like that took a piece of my soul out. So
yeah.
I think it's a really fun game to play with people who like games and kind of have a paradigm for playing games. But I don't even think it needs to be like a hardcore gamer, just someone who really likes playing games.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we should call it. What should they do though?
You guys should keep playing awesome games for sure.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
We're at a party and people are starting to show up.
And we're the weirdos in the back room recording a video. That you never really feel like you're like out.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go.
Yeah. Have a good week. Keep playing awesome games.